So we've just published this new report on the 2025 octopus bloom. So hi, I'm Dr. Bryce Stewart. I'm a Senior Research Fellow at the Marine Biological Association and Associate Professor at University of Plymouth. So we've just published this new report on the 2025 octopus bloom. This is the common octopus, as it's known by its scientific name, Octopus vulgaris. In the coastal waters of southwest UK, we've seen this incredible increase in numbers. So we were commissioned to do some research into why this has happened, what the consequences might be, particularly for the fishing industry, and then also what the future might hold. So we're lucky enough to receive funding from DEFRA, from Plymouth City Council and from Devon County Council to be able to do this study. So it's led by the Marine Biological Association, but we're also doing that work importantly with partners at Plymouth Marine Laboratory, the University of Plymouth, and also an independent consultant called Dr. Simon Thomas. Yeah, so what we've discovered, well, we've really confirmed how unusual this event is. We've looked back through history over 150 years. There's only a few instances where this sort of thing has happened before. So this is probably now the best documented, particularly because of the observations from fishermen. A, this is a really unusual event, but B, we think we've found a really clear link with climate change. So we looked at both the environmental conditions around this bloom in octopus, but also those other previous ones over the last 100 years or so, both during the year of the bloom, but also the year before when the octopus would have been breeding. We saw unusually warm temperatures in the seawater and in the atmosphere compared to the sort of other years around that period, what we call a marine heat wave. So that was consistent with all of those other blooms and this one. Sort of makes sense because this is a warm water species, right? So when the water's warmer here, you expect to see them here. The other thing that we've done is actually model the dispersal of the young octopus after they've hatched from eggs. So octopus are pretty cool. Anyone who's seen my octopus teacher will know the females, once they've been fertilized, actually lay eggs in a den. They'll guard those until they hatch, and then those little tiny baby octopus actually disperse in the ocean currents. And we were able to show that if there had been lots of breeding, say in the Channel Islands, Guernsey in particular, where we know there was lots of octopus last year, those baby octopus would have actually come on the ocean currents to the southwest coast of the UK, exactly where they've been found. So we're pretty clear that there's this link with warmer temperatures and also that they can actually have come from other waters as well. The octopus, once they've sort of arrived near our coast, have obviously been moving around. That's very difficult to study, and that's something we'd like to look at more in the future. Yeah, so obviously what I've said is the fishermen were the first ones to detect these octopus. But to begin with, it wasn't very positive, to be honest. Particularly crab and lobster fishermen were finding that the octopus were getting into their pots and they were eating everything in there. It was like a seafood buffet for them, you know. So fishermen were pulling out pots and they'd find bits and pieces of crabs and lobsters and even scallop shells that the octopus seemed to have brought into the pots to eat later. So they're quite the connoisseur. That was obviously very disturbing. Catches of crabs and lobsters were really down for the first few months. Then at least some of the fishermen, unfortunately not all, were able to actually focus on catching the octopus instead. Some of them did quite well out of that and offset the loss of their catches of crabs and lobsters. And so for a period of time, probably sort of 4 or 5 months, you know, the earnings were still relatively good. Not for everyone, as I said, and that's important. But from about August onwards, catches of octopus have dropped off quite a lot, but catches of crabs and lobsters and scallops haven't come back. So we're really in a sort of, I guess, an uncertain future and a worrying time for the fishermen, because if those populations of crabs and lobsters and scallops don't recover, obviously that's going to affect what is a long-standing fishery for those species. But also if the octopus don't come back either, then they've kind of got almost nothing to catch. Now that leads us to the question of, will the octopus come back? They are still here. We're still getting reports of fishermen catching them. divers are seeing them as well. One diver last week saw 6 of them in a single dive. So they're obviously around. We know they've been breeding as well. There's lots of observations of that and of the eggs as well. And even some small baby octopus have been seen here. So chances are they will be here again, particularly if we have a relatively warm winter. So they'll survive over the winter and we'll see them again. Exactly how big the numbers will get, I guess that remains to be seen. But I think we do have to get used to this almost new reality that climate change is bringing. It's disrupting marine food webs, it's causing these changes, and for us as, I guess, both fishermen and divers, that's something that we're going to just need to adapt to.